The title's correct. You just have to wait, everyone. The special guest is on their way. Well, Elliot. Welcome to episode 15 of Graphic Design is My Elliot. GDIME. It's a good day to GDIME hard. The happiest of Tuesdays to you all. It is truly Elliot time. And we'll pause for the thumbnail. On the menu for today, Ramdin is here, everyone. Yay! Welcome. Welcome, Ramdin, to GDIME. How are you? Hello.
I'm doing well. Hello. It's a good day to GDIME hard.
That was Ro's idea. I just want to be very clear. Ro did come up with that one, and I do think it's one of the best.
Yeah, but right now I'm GDIME soft. I'm not aroused.
Yep, and so Ro, this is the first. Welcome, Ro, to GDIME. Well, you are now.
Hey,
I haven't. We've chatted before, in a very casual sense, not outside of any kind of podcast world. And
I call you when I'm high, and I pester you, and I say I want to make music for you.
And I go, yeah, I'll do it. I go, absolutely. And then now we have some songs ready, and by we I mean I'm commissioning you. I haven't had any role in the creative process, but I am. It is for me, so it's like a shared project.
I've been rolling my chair over your back like you're a throw rug, as I move between the keyboard and the audio interface and whatnot.
And I'm just doing me, and that's
You're just doing you.
I'm just doing me. For those who don't know Ro, I'll give you a little introduction, Ro. If that's it. Sorry, I just want to be. I haven't done one of these interview style things in like 2 years. Okay. So we're walking through it. This is why Ro's the first guest, because I know she'd be okay with me fucking around. Okay, and but it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good. Don't turn it off. Don't skip. Don't skip to the next one.
Lewis is gonna come on with his ass out in 25 seconds.
He's in the cupboard.
We've shaved him even smoother this time.
Cleanly
Looks like he's covering Elmer's glue.
Nothing left. So Ro is, I would say, easily my favorite YouTuber on the platform, and a fellow big dog. We've both got our plaques. Pretty cool. Pretty cool achievement. A mixture of both commentary, video essays, but mainly I would say comedy at the forefront, a lot of it, and that's what makes her content so special. And also just a brilliant creative mind whose own self shines through so hard through her stuff, and that's why I enjoy watching her so much, because it's so raw. It's so raw. Not Soho, the suburb in New York, but so raw. And if you haven't checked out Ro's stuff, then please do. But I'm sure there's a lot of crossovers. I feel like we have a crossover of communities. I feel like.
I hope.
Yeah, I'd hope so. But yeah, Ro's the best, and I feel very blessed to have her here on GDIME. And we're gonna have a fun little chat. So yeah, yeah.
That's an awfully kind introduction. I'll do an introduction back for Elliot.
I was hoping you'd.
This is Elliot Ulm, aka Elliot is a cool guy. He's 4'9". He lives in a dirt hole, a moist dirt hole that I recently shoveled in my backyard. He stole my entire format for his YouTube, and today I'm coming on in a sort of act of political protest to show you that supporting Elliot, both passively and actively, is a crime. I'm kidding. Elliot is one of my favorite YouTubers easily. I mean, right now probably my favorite. Yeah.
One of those facts was true, and I'll leave the viewers up to that to decide which one. And it's the dirt hole. It's the dirt hole. Trust me.
It's the dirt hole. And you had to wash up pretty good before coming on this one.
Oh, it's a rent-free experience. It's actually pretty good deal. But no, thank you. I'm glad. I do think it's a good thing that we have such a mutual appreciation of each other's content. It's very nice, especially because it's quite different worlds, and we post about very different things. But it's still like, I think the way we come up with the videos, and we've talked about this on a phone call, but I think the way we talk about these and create these videos is very similar, and I think the process is shared, which is really quite nice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of attention shown to certain aspects of the craft and process in our videos that set them apart from some other people on the platform, maybe, and we were able to relate over our sort of obsession with those smaller aspects.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I do think we do have some audience overlap, at least. I know that I think I sort of have a reputation as like your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah. Oh, that's
MFU
great.
commentary YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like I know that there's a lot of creators who enjoy what I do, but I'm not like the biggest YouTuber in the world, which I like. It's nice. But like for instance, Ben Marriott, who's an amazing animator, graphic designer, all of the above, motion designer. I didn't even know he watched my stuff, but then the other day he slides in my DMs. He's like, "I love your stuff." I'm like, You're fucking great, man.
That's
Holy
amazing.
shit."
That's so good.
And then later that same day, I was high out of my mind trying to like do a halftone effect on After Effects, and I was watching a tutorial, and I was like, "Hold on a second, is this Ben?"
It's the
It
guy,
was.
my
It's
now
that guy.
mutual, my mutual. Is this a mutual?
Is this a moody?
Ben will be. Ben has expressed interest on being on GDIME as well, which is very exciting. So he's going to be on it very soon. Very, very talented guy. In this
Yeah.
guest series of GDIME that is to come. This is one of three that I have locked in.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's just
You
pretty
have
exciting. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
A little
working on it.
triumvirate of GDIME.
Yeah, the holy trinity of YouTubers that I enjoy.
Yeah.
You, Ben Marriott, and Kel Lauren. The three. That's the
I was
thing.
about to say, Kel would be the other one to get on. Also, I feel like my emotions are droopy on one side because I have like this terrible gum pain over here. So if I smile and it's weird and it's like I'm doing like a two-faced sort of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna flip a coin to decide on the fate of your son's life. It's just
good.
oral pain.
Thank God.
Hey, and this guy Elliot knows a little thing or two about oral. Trust me, he won't stop talking about it.
I know a lot about Two-Face from Batman Arkham City. The
Yep,
the
oral
game.
sex.
The Batman
Oral
Arkham
sex.
City is a great
Hey
game.
YouTube, hey community guidelines on YouTube.
All right.
Oral sex. He's talking about the
I'm gonna
details
play a
of oral
sad
sex.
trombone
No.
over this. Because did I tell you the two good times ago got
Yeah,
a
you
block
put fuck in the title.
yeah. That was. I've seen YouTubers get away with putting fuck in the title, and
They have to censor it with an asterisk, though.
yeah, but well, as if they don't like. I hate that all it takes is putting an asterisk instead of the U, and then suddenly you can get away with using it because everyone reads it. You're not reading it as F asterisk CK. Like, how can you just like
Yeah.
there's no difference. It's like they should
It
just
does feel a bit fraudulent.
Yeah. But I did change, and they got the ads back, and I got the I got the ad revenue back. I got the copyright strike.
25 cents.
Yeah, I got my. I bought a what's it with it. Who's it?
A gumball.
A little gumball. Yeah. Went down to the little twist little thingo, and I got a little gumball out. Pretty happy with my purchase. I actually invested it. I invested it into it's capital for me. I guess it's
Yeah, you used acorns.
yeah. It will.
So I've actually been consulting
out.
with this really smart guy, Sam Bankman, SBF. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. I've heard of that guy.
He's helped me put my money where it matters.
Yeah. Big news.
In his pockets.
Yeah, and that's
His
good.
pockets are lined with silk, and it sort of enhances the money's
And that's something
quality.
that Ro and I wanted to talk to you all about today. Is that there will be a link in the description where you can send money to this GDIME for the next one, where we're going. I guess I will be getting because Ro's only special guest today. But it's for a logo
Well,
for the next. It's for a logo.
And you can purchase a share in GDIME.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is, if you purchase a share in GDIME, you're going to be out about 50K. But in about 5K increments, if you sell your share to your friends, 5K increments at a piece, you're reaping all the rewards from that. And then they can, of course, go and sell their friends, smaller portions of the GDIME share.
Yeah. And that sounds like. I'm just gonna say it. Like, if I was listening to this right now, I'd be pretty invested in that.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
it sounds like a great business opportunity.
I think so. So yeah, there'll be we're gonna talk more about that after the BetterHelp sponsored segment in about 20 minutes.
Then we're gonna talk about the timeshare in Elliot's living room.
Yeah, I do. That will be. We are setting up a timeshare. You know, I toured it.
Yeah.
This is to escape from the bit. I toured a timeshare once with my family on a holiday. We were swindled by someone on the street saying, "Would you like to check out this timeshare?" And there's a free lunch involved, and it was a pasta salad lunch. Which isn't free lunch. I'm going to say it right now.
Barely a free lunch.
Barely a free, like really, really rough, really disappointing.
Pasta salad is more of a punishment.
Yeah,
you know?
right? It's
Pasta salad is like something where you're reading the Stanford prison experiment, like a line by line of what happened, and you get to what they had for lunch, and you're like, pasta salad? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It was cold. It was freezing cold,
Yeah.
like 31 degrees Fahrenheit.
But all the guys wearing
-1 degrees
sunglasses
Celsius.
got like a full on Reuben sandwich or something, and then you're just stuck with the pasta salad. And you're like, why do the guys
You
with
try to bite
sunglasses?
into the pasta salad, their teeth fractured.
Yeah. It's like this is not even store fresh. This is
Covered in balsamic vinegar, the sourest olives you've ever had in your life.
God.
They say it's Kalamata, but it's like it's just like a piece, like a tire shaving that was soaked in oil.
Yeah, it's just foul food. Pasta salad is like the kind of food that they would have at my university for the very brief time I was there. In the fridge section when they stopped serving hot food, and it was always disappointing. But when there's nothing left on a campus that should have more food options, you got to take the pasta salad.
The feeling I get when I see somebody eating a pasta salad in public, first of all, usually like it's like wet, it's messy. They've shaken it up before in Tupperware, and they eat it. And on TikTok, people will rich people feed their dogs raw food diets, and it's like liver and like a quail egg
in like those bowls that have like different sections, so it's like the dog enjoys the process of eating at the same time.
Yeah. Because the dog, of course, needs to be a conscious eater.
Oh yeah, the dog needs to be enriched with a food.
Yeah.
I want one of those bowls for me.
When I see somebody eating pasta salad in public, like a nurse.
Yeah.
I feel, pasta salad is like, because nurses are already suffering day to day.
Huge nurse food. Yeah, that is literally.
They just come out from having to pull the plug on somebody's grandfather. They're like, I got fucking pasta salad.
Yeah, God damn it again. Really? Couldn't have made anything better today?
Exactly the same as a Rottweiler slurping up like raw duck liver out of a bowl on the ground.
Some weird vitamin D
supplement. You should be eating
supplement.
pasta salad on all fours.
Oh,
with medication hidden in it.
100%. There's a reason when you buy pasta salad from most places, it doesn't come with cutlery. You're not getting a cardboard fork. No. You're gonna gobble that up.
You're
hands on
supposed to
knees.
slop that up like a horse eating carrots out of somebody's hand.
BYO bowl, the container. Pasta salad is the vehicle. The container is the vehicle for you to put it in some kind of dish to bloody get it down and eat it.
Yeah.
I could go for
Wow,
this is making me really want to go for it.
We could talk about pasta salad for hours, man.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that actually brings us. This brings us to we can get right into the featured item of the. It's an overdue featured item because usually I get right into it. But this is now because now I'm working on how to introduce it with a special guest.
Ooh.
But now we can do it now. So we can do. It's time for the featured item of the week, which you were neatly in front of.
Oh. Yeah, I'm in front of.
It's
featured item of the road.
It's okay. It's okay. It's time for the featured item of the week. I also am now realizing how do I turn it off? Nope, that's just the last week's featured item of the week. I need to do that, and then I need to do that. There we go.
Okay.
Today, of course, I've decided that if I get a special guest on, then the special guest gets to choose the featured item of the week, or items in this week's case. So, Ro, let's talk about your featured item of the weeks.
Okay, featured items of the week. It's not multiple weeks here, so let's get it together. First item here is this Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator. Teenage Engineering is a great sort of design studio that makes kind of just like audio and music production gear. They're best known for their OP1, which is a synthesizer that you can carry around. It's very trendy looking.
Beautiful.
But this series of it's a gorgeous it's like Bauhaus level. It's a stunning work. This is their pocket operator. This is a little sort of drum synth sequencer that you can take with you on the go. And it's a lovely little piece of tech. It's not really you're not really able to see it, but if you hit play on your sequence, they have these little sort of canned animations that they'll play of like a guy on a forklift,
Oh, sick.
bringing stuff over, and it's different for every single module. And it's one of these, it's one of those little pieces of tech that's just, so much love was put into every single piece of this design. It's just like a really cool little gizmo. So that's my first item of the week.
They do also that they do a speaker, right? And it's like got like a little handle with a radio kind of switch and everything. I want that speaker.
It's beautiful.
The orange one is incredible. And
they let you record scratch with a little module at the top of the speaker. Like all of these tiny little like considerations just to make the product fun to like interact with. It's brilliant.
Just imagine pulling up to the picnic with that speaker, just showing up to one and then being like, showing off my record scratching skills in front of my friends while we listen to 95.3 Smooth FM. If you get that joke, meet me at Centennial Park in 3 hours. What's your next item? Some people are gonna love that one, bro. Some people are gonna fucking love that joke.
I don't fucking know what's happening here. So here's my next item. This is a board game, pocket-sized board game called Scout, designed by Kei Kajino and Oink Games. Oink Games are known for this really small form factor of card game. This particularly is a trick-taking card game. So I guess the design aspects of this, I think the form factor is very nice. It comes with these beautiful little sort of like cardboard tokens for use with the game. They're very tactile, very fun. But just the form factor of these Oink games, they're so small, you can put them in your pocket. It kind of makes them like the perfect things to like bring to a small get together, or I do trivia at the bar across the street, and my friends and I sometimes will bring Scout and we'll play around before trivia gets started. It's just a great little thing, and it makes you think, what else could be small so that I could take it to the bar? Weapons.
Yeah.
On to item number
cards.
3. Item number 3 is a Beatles deck of cards from Theory 11. Theory 11 is a magic company. They produce magic tricks, gimmicks, and playing cards. But they have sort of fantastic design sensibility. Weirdly enough, like the magic community has a huge overlap with like influencer community. So Peter McKinnon is somebody who used to photograph like playing cards a lot. He's a YouTuber who does like photography and filmography stuff, but he has like a background in the magic industry. He actually has his own deck of playing cards with Theory 11 as well. But these cards are just very gorgeous, and like there's a lot of attention sort of paid to like a bunch of smaller aspects. They've got these nice custom pips. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
They got like a little, I think like the Kings are the 4 Beatles. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm looking at the ace with the walrus, the one in the photo that you sent me. The I am the walrus ace. Incredible.
I'll pull it up. Yeah, the ace of spades is the walrus, and the ace of diamonds is, of course, the Rocky Raccoon.
Oh, bless. Great song.
Yeah. So just lovely little piece of design, super beautiful tuck box, embossed. I kind of collect a lot of these designer playing cards. It's one of my little things that I allow myself to indulge in. And Theory 11 is probably the best holistic designer of high-end playing cards on the market. So this is my favorite one that I have.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get me. I've got one set of playing cards that one of my a designer friend and an ex-Twitch. I say ex-Twitch moderator because I feel like I'm no longer a Twitch streamer, but still is listed as a moderator now. A YouTube live moderator. Yeah, and we're not looking back. We've got one scheduled in. I think there's gonna be a stream. I think I'm coming back. But she designed this like set of playing cards, and every single one is one of her illustrations. And in fact, this it's Miranda, aka Miranda, who did this little dog mat tribute here and sent it to me. And yeah, they've done this whole like bloody Every card is a different cat, and it's fucking fantastic, and it's all in that same style, but like in 52 whatever, however many cards there are, different ways. And I've always wanted to make one myself. We actually, in my Discord group, the Type House, my server, right, 2,000 members. 2 of them chat every week. And great, we've got a great retention over there. People love that server. We did a collab as a group, and everyone designed a card together, and then we had the back of it and everything. It was a very cool little project. It was I should do something like that again. It is fun to design those things. And your final featured item I'm looking here is beautiful, absolutely incredible.
My final feature item is a tarot deck that was designed by a TikToker who I am mutuals with, Roderick Jose Ruano, who I think you can just look up their name and you can find it. This is called the Deck of Origin, the Evergrande Arcana, and it is a Pokemon-themed tarot deck with unique illustrations of every single card in the tarot deck, but just with Pokemon instead. So we got, like, this is the Queen of Pentacles, but it's Blaziken. So and it's an entire deck of these. All of the illustrations are beautiful.
The colors
full
are
color,
incredible color scheme.
This is absolutely, I think, one of my favorite. It's my go-to item when like somebody walks in the apartment and they're looking at all of my trinkets or whatever, and I'm like, what do I want to show you that's actually very interesting and very cool? It's always this tarot deck. This artist is fantastic. They also have a tarot deck that is all trans clowns, which is fantastic. Yeah. And the illustrations are just pitch perfect emulation of like old tarot illustrations. Gorgeous through and through. Like an unbelievable amount of work and detail and cleverness in these cards.
Unreal. So, yeah, I'm looking at the King of Pentacles, the Swampert one. Yeah, and it's just like I didn't, because when you sent me this, all I saw was the Swampert one. I didn't realize the whole thing was Pokemon themed, which is so sick. Yeah. And I'm now realizing the cover has like a little what Poochie, whatever his name is, that little dog.
I think it's. Oh yeah. Oh my God!
Right,
I'm forgetting it.
Right,
Puccina? No.
I think it's Pucciana. I actually think it is. I think
Puccina,
yeah. And then the little swindle-looking guy at the back is. I'm forgetting all their bloody names.
I'm forgetting all their names too. That's my problem.
Pokemon in so long. But it's just like. Seeing stuff like this makes me go like, oh, I should make something physical. You know, I should actually like properly print something out rather than just letting it all exist digital. But wow,
get it out of Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah, honestly, get it off the fucking screen. But fantastic, Ro. Thank you for those 4 featured items. Absolutely incredible stuff. What a treasure trove of things that you own. And I think it'd be a good segue to talk about because obviously you watch the channel. And
yes.
there is a attention to graphic design in your videos. What's your relationship with graphic design for those who are curious?
So great question. I started dabbling in graphic design. So I'm 22. I started dabbling in graphic design probably in 6th or 7th grade, around the time that I was learning filmmaking, photography, all of that sort of stuff. I never really paid it as close attention. I was a photographer first and foremost. So my understanding of composition and design was driven really heavily by like photography. So I would edit my photos and like maybe I had to do like a single cover or like an album cover or something, and then I would bring in sort of design sensibilities there, or a poster. So I would say for a while my design knowledge and prowess stagnated, but recently with YouTube, I've allowed myself to get back into it, making sort of increasingly complicated title cards and whatnot, putting a lot of effort and time into finding fonts that I really like.
Yes.
Taking the extra time to go into Illustrator, go into After Effects to make that little graphic I want to. And for me, it's hard because I produce videos at sort of like a quicker speed, so I can't perfect every single design. And a lot of the times I'm more so designing them for comedic efficiency rather than, how nice they are to look at. But even so, I try to pay pay attention to how they look. Yeah, design has always been something that's very interesting to me. My girlfriend is a design student, and so we're constantly chopping it up about design.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, I love, and that's one of the things that drew me to your channel at the start, because it was so like, and it's such a thing with YouTubers now, is that either you've kind of got like an editor who will make your assets for you and graphics, who might not necessarily do too much graphic design, so it's very much just like a lot of special effects and like the same kind of fonts and stuff. But like when it's someone, because we both edit our own videos, and when you kind of have that full creative control over it, you can really go into those little details like the title cards and just spend a bit too much time on it just so it looks good, just so the whole video has its own kind of like branding. And I think that's so fun. Also, I love how I did the same thing when I was just starting graphic design. I found like poster composition really easy because I'd done a few photography classes, and like it all ties together. And a lot of people are like, oh, how do I get started with graphic design and shit? I'm just like, look at as much as you possibly can, and just like try and like learn from other things that you've done. It's not just, composition is universal, you know, like it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's not just a thing.
If you're coming from a different discipline, you know, apply that knowledge to what you're doing and apply that sensibility, because it's going to enhance what you're doing. It's not going to play against it.
Yeah. And
in my opinion,
YouTubing is so fun because it's such a mix of different things as well. It's like not just like, you know, we're both funny. Do you do stand-up? You've done stand-up.
No, I've never done stand-up.
You've never done stand-up?
Never done stand-up.
Would you do stand-up?
Yeah, maybe.
It's awful. It's not.
No, I believe. I mean, I've been sort of, I guess, making comedy content online since midway through 2020, which was like my senior year of high school. I, you know, was making videos on TikTok, and comedy TikToks and sketches and the like, impersonations and bullshit like that. And, you know, the whole time I was thinking I should do stand-up. And then around, I think, 2022, earlier this year, I kind of had a lull where I was like, maybe I don't need to do stand-up.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about like, what am I interested in? And I feel like a lot of comedians or people who write comedy, whatever, online, are always thinking that they need to move into like a legitimate, you know, they need to legitimize their craft by moving into stand-up, moving into like sketch comedy, or improv or whatever. And I totally respect that. I think that those are great mediums. But for me, you know, I looked at stand-up and I thought, you know, the thing that I really love is writing a lot of jokes and writing them very specifically, and throwing out 50 in a 1 minute period. And, you know, they're all so specific that maybe like 50 different people will get one of the jokes. And then like, and that's like really fun for me, this idea of, you know, not writing something broad. And when you get into a dynamic where you have to engage with an audience, you know, transactionally every night when you get up on stage, you have to start writing for what's going to be effective. You have to make sure you have to maximize your hit rate. You have to have a good KD. So to me, I think that would be interesting to explore for sure. But I think that the joy that I get out of writing jokes right now comes from a different place than like maximizing my effectiveness.
I legit like have been thinking, like, tossing up the idea of changing my name when I do comedy stuff like in America, just so people don't like find my YouTube channel and go, oh, he's a comedy YouTube, he's an online comedian. It's not the same. And I'm like, no, it's like it's very legit stuff. Like, it isn't just,
it is,
you know, it's my job. It's my life. My life. You know, it's and I think since we had that call, the new video I think is very funny. I think it's gonna be very funny. You know,
I'm excited to see.
Me too. I've got you know, very little of it done. But that, you know, we were back on the horse yesterday. We did do some filming yesterday. We were on set. The set was built, and the set, I've cleaned the place, if anyone noticed. No one probably fucking noticed. But I think it's exciting trying to be like funny. I think I really do like being. I don't give a shit really about the graphic design in the videos. I actually don't care. I don't care if the designs turn out well. I don't care if people like them or not. I want everyone to
Yeah.
have a laugh. You know, that's fun.
Yeah. It's like it's a totally thrilling dynamic. And I guess like when I think about the moments in videos that really stick with me, Ben Marriott's recent video where he redesigned the X logo.
Great video.
You know, I think about really, really great video.
Underrated.
I think about,
Underrated.
Super underrated.
Yeah.
I look at all the designs he ultimately came up with, and those are all brilliant and beautiful. But the moment that sticks with me is when he leaves in a Joe Rogan clip where Joe Rogan is saying, just watching an adult beat the shit out of a 10, 11-year-old, and then it cuts away. The first time I saw that, I like cried. I cried laughing.
Oh, it's so good.
It was just like such a good feeling to be able to take advantage of the unique sort of like collage style of a YouTube video, and to bring jokes out of that can't exist in stand-up or whatever. I think like there are great comedians who started off on YouTube or whatever. Chris Fleming is somebody who has always bridged the gap between internet content and stand-up. Sarah Shower is a good friend of mine, and they have done online stuff forever since Vine, and they're doing stand-up now, and it's going well, and they're an incredibly funny person, an incredibly funny writer. But there are also internet creators who are amazing on the internet who I don't think I would particularly care to see live. Not, which isn't to say that I wouldn't want to see something they had made. It's just the idea of for instance, like Please Don't Destroy, three pretty hilarious comedians. I did feel like they lost something when they went from the iPhone format to the SNL format. Because they're trying to drag along all of these sort of idiosyncrasies of their comedy, but so much of it came from the fact that it was just like all of them on the same page, 4-person crew filming on their phone, ragtag as fast as possible, and the sort of like energy and freneticism that came from that was super engaging. And I think it's something that especially I think SNL has struggled with in its digital content production for a long time, translating how amazing early internet sketch comedy was into this really, really like high production value type stuff. Because if you look at those early, Lonely Island digital shorts, which were cultural touchstones and still are.
Of course.
Stuff
Dick
like,
in a Box will always be my favorite video ever.
But like the really early ones like Dear Sister or Lazy Sunday, they're filmed like shit. They're filmed like in nondescript places, terrible camera quality, and that was so much of the charm. That was so much of the fun. And we know that SNL has thousands of dollars every week to throw at a video production, and that they can get whoever they want, and they can overproduce the hell out of it. But the more I watch SNL, the more I'm like, that's not what I want. I can't stand another music video with Pete Davidson rapping. I'll kill myself if you do that one more time.
Legit. And it's
like,
just like, because like they go from like these sketches where you've got people not even looking at each other, staring at a fucking line cue card in a very average, like they don't put much work at all into any kind of cinematography. It's just like, this is the same way that we do it every single time. And then they go, an SNL digital shirt, here's a little movie that we've made for everyone to break up all the boring little sketch format.
And then it's like professional video production.
And it's like, what do we sometimes I like them, but then like you were saying, like the Police and Destroy guys, like I used to love their stuff, just sitting around the fucking couch in an apartment, just joking around, talking to each other. And it was also just because they can just riff, I guess, and then record the best bits. I feel like it's, with the time constraint, with the budget, it's definitely a different kind of process, so you'd have to change all of that. They're apparently nepotism babies as well. Someone was telling me the other day.
2 of them, John Higgins is Steve Higgins' son.
But that's Jimmy Fallon's little freak, little co-own freak, right?
Little goblin.
Bloody hell.
I think the Ben Marshall is not a nepotism baby though, which is fine because he was my fave.
He
is my fave of the trio. But I won't make 3 bad bitches compete for my attention, for my affection.
But I will.
Oh yeah, you always do. I mean, when we go to the club, it's always a thing.
Yeah, of course, man.
How many times we've gone to a club. It's also, I feel like with SNL, there's that there's the kind of problem of as the production quality increases and the professionalism and like the standard increases, it almost gets less funny because
Yeah.
you're pushing all of these like, top of the line, like fantastic costume artists, lighting designers, to do all this stuff in a week's time, and they can almost come out with a product that's too good.
Yeah.
So like everything is getting less ragtag, and that's less fun. And I think that's why breaking is, famously such a part of the brand. Horatio Sands and Jimmy Fallon just losing their minds,
Yeah.
not being able to get through lines, because so much of it is so almost sterile, in terms of how well put together everything is. It's almost too good. And the digital shorts didn't have that for a while, and now it feels like they've succumbed to that as well.
Oh yeah, that's
So
little
essentially what we're
blockbusters.
saying is blacklist us from the industry. Never cast us in anything. Never
And this
laugh
is
at us.
why I'm changing my name when I
Yeah,
move over
yeah.
there for improv schools. This is why this is all part of it.
You're going to be an Elliot SNL lover.
I would do SNL. I would. I think that I could see myself on it. I think Elliot. I can. I look at SNL and I go, I can save him. That's the worst thing. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. I imagine I'd get there and it would just absolutely destroy me, Tim Robinson style. Like that'd be like, fuck this. But like I look at it now and I go, it needs a bit of Elliot right now. It needs
me.
It needs the first Australian on SNL. That's what it really needs. Yeah.
Yeah, the first Australian.
Yeah.
Americans famously very receptive to non-American comedy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they need. They need an Aussie guy who's kind of American. With little. It's not too strong. Because I now know
love
two
American
Aussies.
comedy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know two Aussies who've got auditions there. So they do audition them.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is
That's
wild.
big.
Yeah.
That's big.
I've only met one of them, but the other one is I've heard he got one. But yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. It is just something. I can.
Americans love foreign comedy so much that our most popular sitcom of the past 2 decades was a remake of a British sitcom that was so short that you could watch it in one day.
Yeah, and it's
They
so
were
much
like,
better
hey,
than
we
the
got
British
this
one.
Good, yeah. Oh yeah.
They're making an Australian version. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, and also like the American creators of The Office have been talking about like making a spin-off or
Yeah,
something.
oh, God,
or even
I saw
remaking
that.
the show. It's like,
Yeah.
get the fuck.
I think they just
Stop it.
confirmed the other
Nonsense.
day it won't be like a reboot, but yeah, same universe, but exploring like I think specifically what's his name, Greg Daniels, right? That's the guy. I think the creator.
Yeah.
I think he specifically said a spin-off, like same universe. Like imagine if it was the same camera crew in a different spot making a new documentary.
totally.
I'm like, that's
We don't want the fucking OCU. What's happening?
Parks and Recreation. Like what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like a new camera? Like we don't know the camera crew.
Yeah.
We know the one sound guy in it or something who had this one small arc.
Yeah.
How is that the spin-off at all? It's a new show, mate. Like it's a very silly idea, but I probably would watch it. I probably would end up watching.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I did like The Office.
Yeah,
but
and I do like the mockumentary style.
Right, it is good with the shaky camera and the looking at the camera and stuff. I can't help but not. But I'm liking it less as I grow older.
Sorry, I was about to interject.
Say something.
Thank you, brother.
Working
Thank you,
through
brother.
it.
Olm. It's just the delay we're trying to get. What I was gonna say is I feel like those mockumentary style shows have succumbed to the same thing I was talking about with SNL, the production value increasing. You look at Arrested Development and The Office, and they were really directed first and foremost to be a mockumentary style. And you'll see it in The Office. There'll be these wild shots where you start off inside a car on a telephoto lens that's like 200 mil, like in on somebody outside, and then Michael needs to like hide, and immediately we zoom out and it's like a 20 millimeter lens, like super guerrilla style documentary, and that added to so many of the jokes. And Parks and Rec started like that too, but as we got further and further, same thing with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it almost starts to look too sitcom-y, like it looks too single cam. It looks more like they're trying to make it look like a mockumentary rather than doing what something like Parks and Recreation did, which is where they genuinely would like get makeup done, lighting done as quick as possible just so that they could shoot. They could like roll ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
That was the functional purpose of the style. And we don't need the nice cameras. We don't need
No.
like the wild makeup. That it takes away from the
Yeah.
experience.
I find it funny how like I think I will enjoy comedy that's either like someone just has randomly filmed a TikTok and they've just randomly been funny and it's hilarious in that own way, but it's so unintentional. Like it's not made to look good, and it's okay with that. It's just funny, and it doesn't need to look good. Or the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is like I watched the John Early special the other night. So good, right?
Good.
And just like the complete opposite, where it's like the most high budget kind of like style, like really artistic. The song at the beginning, the song at the end, like all this kind of stuff, just like completely unnecessary for throwing it in there, but makes it such a complete package, and makes it feel like so much more than just a little bit of comedy. Like it's like I didn't just laugh. Like there were a lot of times I was just enjoying the whole thing. And like, but there's that weird middle ground, which is like a show like what was that space show with made by Greg Daniels, the one recently with Steve Carell. Fuck it. Yeah, he did.
Jeez, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a Netflix show. It only lasted for one season before they kind of canceled it. But the whole thing, it was like going to be, Steve Carell and Greg Daniels are teaming back up again. But this time, Steve Carell's playing like a Trump-like character. I'm pretty sure, like he was like the head of NASA or something. And it failed. And some people liked it, but some people, I don't think it went very well at all. But it's like that was a Netflix budget. It looked okay. The set was good. The costuming was good. It was on point and all that. But it was like it didn't match the office. I love the office so much because it was just a shitty little office with these little cameras. The car footage was awful, but so funny just because it's just them with a webcam in a car. But yeah, I fucking love that John Early special so much. That was a great special. So good.
Yeah, I think the more it's interesting because in like I feel like not early film, just to say like the 20th century and the early 20th. Yeah. I'm talking about Nosferatu.
Hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. Love their couldn't stop laughing.
The funniest shit. But I do feel like, that in television, there's been this sort of pattern established of like over time quality of our ability to make a higher quality looking program increases. So we should, in lockstep alongside that, start making our program look better to the extent that we are technically able to. But I think as so many cultural paradigms shift, as parody becomes more of a thing, as we start to understand, the cultural understanding is such that we know that there are things that look like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and we know that there are things that look like Blade Runner 2049, and we know that there are things that look like YouTube videos, and we see all of these distinctions, and we might tune into them. We know that sports broadcasts look different from these things, and more than ever now we understand like it's not necessarily a technological limitation, it's like the format. And I think that some sitcoms nowadays, there's this whole thing in filmmaking communities where it's like stuff nowadays is shot the same, much less dynamically and interestingly than it was shot, even 20 years ago on digital cameras and then graded really flat.
Yeah. And
everything looks like really, really basic, like too perfect to, if, even if you were shooting on film 15, 20 years ago, there are unavoidable things that happen with film stock. You're going to bring out certain colors. You're going to have certain light artifacting. You're going to have halation. You're going to, it's going to be softer. And I think that when it comes to mind, what comes to mind for me when I think of like comedy that pays really good attention to that form factor distinction between like all of these different eras is the group Almost Friday. Almost Friday TV
yes.
And the one that comes to mind, first of all, they make hilarious sketches, ridiculous, sometimes like super cinematic, but they're really not afraid to strip back and to make part of the joke how it's filmed. They have this really great Survivor parody where it's uploaded as though it's an old clip, like Survivor, and in parentheses it says full HD. Yeah. But it's like filmed like shit, like an old reality TV show, and uploaded in 480p. You can't turn it up to HD. That's like part part of the joke. Or they have this parody, this like behind the scenes HBO parody, where the whole first minute and a half is shot on an iPhone, and then it cuts to like, I don't know, like an Ari Alexa or whatever. And it's like the joke is that now it's all of these hoity-toity high society people joking about how brilliant this thing they made on the iPhone was. And it's like that's like I feel like still relatively untapped. Like you'll still watch a TV show and people will be talking on the phone or texting, and like the text won't look like text do in real life, or the phone will be like, yeah, instead of like actually sounding like, you know, lossy like digital compression of like a voice, it'll be like, hello, how you doing over there, Chief? It's like,
it's like put a fucking microphone next to the phone and record the phone call. It's just very easy to do, you know. God, I remember seeing that Survivor video for the first time, and it was just in my recommendations, and I was like, I've never watched a Survivor clip on YouTube. Why am I getting recommended this? And I was like, oh, it's by the guys. And I was like, holy shit. And that video, I think, flops really hard because it was so... like the thumbnail, the title was just as like a random person has like bootlegged a clip from fucking Survivor and uploaded it. And so no one knew what it was. And I think they ended up changing the title later because the first one had like a date and time and everything. Like it was like a full on thing. I think they sadly changed it to like a more clickable one, which is so fair. But we've both done the same. But like watching that and just their stuff is just so, even their short form stuff is so much like less high produced and stuff, but it's just the have you seen Entrepreneur?
Oh, is that the yes, I have.
It's like their fake entrepreneur stuff. And like I knew them first through that page and through I think Royce Dupont is the guy. DuPont. And you know, they have some kind of lecture theater booked. And it feels very much like it's a full crowd, and you've got Royce Dupont standing on stage lecturing everyone about, you know, pre-cum and shit like that, and the importance of it, and all just like random shit. It's brilliant. He's fucking hilarious.
I like to measure my employees' cocks.
Yeah, it's like, and that's normal. That's completely normal. It's like, put your hand up if you watch porn. There's a classic one. It's like, now put it down if you've watched it in the last 10 minutes. And like he's the only one who puts it down or something, and he's like, yeah, that's right, that's why I'm up here. And it's like brilliant. Like it's just so like they completely nailed that like genre of content. And like but they're those little, they're films, those little sketches that they do, they're very they've also turned like, do you remember Raka Raka? Did you ever watch any of the Raka Raka stuff?
I never watched any of the Raka Raka stuff. I saw their movie they put out this year.
Yeah, because they used to do, because it was very like, I think I was going through high school when they started uploading these videos, because they're two Aussie twins. And they did this series of like, they would do like the cinnamon challenge, right? And it would start with just them and a few friends, and then Ronald McDonald is also there. And he's got like full white face paint and everything, like peeling off, like he looks awful. And he's going, like that's what he would sound like. And Ronald would always take it too far, and they'd do the cinnamon challenge, and he'd do like, you know, a bag of Coke like entirely on his own, and jump off the roof of the building and like land on a car and get up and like break everything and all that. Kind of similar to what what's the not now, what is it, Talk to Me, similar stuff to like the kind of gore in Talk to Me, but like a YouTube kind of safe level of it. And I love how Almost Friday have started doing that as well. Like there was the one where, oh god, someone's hand ends up in a fucking blender and all that.
Oh my god, the Edward 40 hands one. Yeah, brilliant,
right? Just like, yeah, I really like their stuff. I'm glad they're doing well now. It seems they're getting a bit of momentum.
Yeah, they it's very clear they often work with this not in-house director, and I'm blanking on his name right now.
Cody Kerr.
But he, I remember. But they work with this director who has like really great, well, not just instincts, like really great talent for actually translating very like weird ideas to life. And it's very noticeable when you watch one of their videos that was directed by him versus one that wasn't. It's evident in like so many of the visual motifs. Yeah. So many, like the composition, the way the camera moves. A really good comedy director can pull jokes and like can just pull jokes out of places you didn't think they could exist.
Yeah.
And it's watching their videos has gotten me so excited about sketch comedy again, because it's been so long since I saw sketch comedy that like really like hypes you up.
Yeah.
There are of course there are of course sketches that circle the internet every once in a while. The classic one is the whitest kids you know.
Yeah.
The president one, where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you cannot say I'm going to kill the president. That has a really great flow to it. They also have, the whitest kids you know had a great bit called Moon Bears, where it's like a fake press conference at the White House, and they're revealing they have a base on the moon, and it goes on for about 2.5 minutes, where they're like, well, the intergalactic like council of wizards has been trying to fight us on this. And then somebody in the crowd raises their hands and they're like, just a shot in the dark, you wouldn't happen to be invading Iraq tomorrow? And the guy presenting is like, you got me. It's really great.
Yeah.
And then, like some of the really good SNL stuff, like the Papyrus Ryan Gosling
classic.
sketch,
Yeah.
always comes back because it's like really well directed.
Yeah. Oh, one of the best. Like 100%.
Yeah. Key and Peele, like so much of their stuff.
The
has
early
such
Kyle
great-
Mooney stuff. Did you ever see
Yeah.
some of my favorite stuff? Yeah, yeah.
So much good Kyle Mooney stuff. Yeah, there's just so much really good sketch comedy out there, but it gets like kind of bulldozed because it has to go a bit more corporate, a bit more approachable to get really popular. And seeing stuff like Almost Friday, it like makes me excited just to watch sketch comedy again.
Yeah.
To like click on a video and be like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah,
Like,
right? It's like once
where
a
are we
week.
going next?
Literally once a
Yeah.
week they pull out this stuff that looks like
Yeah.
it's taken a month to build. It makes me go,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
probably upload weekly. I can probably. It's like I know they have a full team and everything, but I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I actually just put my fucking mind to it, I probably could do a little bit more of a. It's been 2 months since I've last uploaded as well, which is a scary amount of time. But that's what GDIME's for.
And it's been 11 days since I've uploaded.
Wow.
And I think, well, the reason it's been 11 days is because I'm toiling. I'm very like being very particular because I'm writing a video on Palestine.
Yeah.
So I'm like being very particular and very cautious
Yeah.
with how every word, is sequenced, and I like need to make sure I know what I'm doing specifically. Otherwise, I would have just like rushed a video out because I try to do weekly now.
Yeah.
But right now I'm allowing myself some time, and then I got sick, and it's like,
But then, and all of this you would know if you were signed up like me to Rose Patreon, which is so much, that's what.
Hey, great, I call for Ramdin. Give me $1 million.
Yep, and my Patreon is still active. You can find it somewhere deep on the. I'm logged out of it. But you can. I don't look. I used to have a panic attack every time I looked at my numbers. God, good on you for keeping it up, bro. That was. It makes. I see it making sense for you. For me, it didn't make any sense. My rewards were a bounty for like $8. It was a bounty. It was like, what was I thinking?
If you can kill Elliot, you get the Patreon money this month.
Yeah, it felt like that. It was like someone's gonna take it. It's not me. I never felt like I got that money. I'm still asking for it. God, no, those are the good old days. That was something I would only ever do again if Ro and I started a podcast together, which is something that we have been talking about as well. Which is
we have been.
Yeah, because this is funny. This feels. I'm like, has this been? This is like an interview almost. This.
Yeah.
GDIME in a way.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about how I want to structure these guests and things in the future. Because I was
Fantastic.
like, it's question. I was like after the feature of the week, I was like, it's question time. I was like, time to ask Ro a question.
I like that though.
No, that's good.
Yeah. It felt good to be asked the question too. I had to examine my own self for a moment, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And as you know, I don't like to self-reflect.
No, I usually, when I'm asked a question, I just go, and I just start talking. And then I was watching a clip of Mr. Musk, Elon Musk, the other day, and he took a solid 10 seconds before responding to something. And I learned a lot from that moment. I thought, wow, that 10 seconds was really boring for me, and they should have cut it out. And I would never do. I would never do that. I need to reply instantly.
Every time I've made a video about Elon Musk, there's been like a huge debate in my head being like, do I do an impersonation of Elon Musk in this video? Because the problem is, Elon Musk is stupid as fuck, and it's hilarious to make fun of him, of course, like easily. But also, a lot of the way he talks is because he's autistic.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I want to make fun of Elon Musk? Yeah, I want to make fun of him really bad. But like, do I need to come for how he talks? Maybe eventually. Probably not. But it's like it's always a temptation, you know. I'm in the Garden of Eden, and it's like this beautiful, this lush, you know, dragon fruit of Elon Musk impression. But I can't quite take a bite, or else, you know, mankind will be punished for my sins, and I'll be canceled. And I'll be canceled by freaking woke Twitter. Yep, sorry, woke Twitter. Looks like you've got another enemy today.
Yeah, learn from me. Delete Twitter, and they can't get you because you can't know the mentions. I do search my name up a lot of the time.
You don't have Twitter.
I have an alt Twitter. It's called. I won't say the name. It's my Washington Wizards. I was pretty active today. It's an NBA account. I got 14 followers of 14, and you know, 14 followers. Imagine 14 people in a room, right? That's a house party. And they're all there.
That's a book club,
brother.
It's
a book club. That's a good book club. That's quite a successful book club.
They're reading the fucking time traveler's wife or whatever.
That's week one of a book club. That's what that feels like.
It's week one of a book club where like we all agreed to read The Color Purple, and we come in and we're like, how about something lighter?
Yeah, legit.
Just like a little bit. But I care about all this.
Yeah. Oh god. Life of Pi this week, maybe. Just it's really uplifting at the end. No, I do have that second Twitter account, and I was actually on my iPad. I'm logged into my old one, and I opened that for the first time the other night, and I spent half an hour just scrolling through my feed and being like, this is why I got off it. This is why I don't like it. Yeah. I was like, I actually don't give a shit about what any of my friends have to say. I actually don't care. All I care about on Twitter is a bunch of middle-aged men who live in Washington, D.C., critiquing and adoring the Washington Wizards. That's all I really need to say. But your ones sneak into my algorithm every so often as well, because I still like.
Really?
It knows me too well. They know it's the same email address. You know. I'm like, oh fuck, mute.
Like, he needs to see this tweet about smoking weed.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, next. Oh, what? Bloody Kyle Kuzma scored 39 points. Great. Retweet. Awesome. And then I'll tweet something like, I tweeted today, the Wizards were up. This is quite a vulnerable moment for me. I tweeted today the Wizards were up by 26 points against the Toronto Raptors. 23. And I tweeted out, and they're the worst team in the league, the Wizards right now. Awful team to support. Yeah. And I tweeted out into the world, I said, why do we look like a championship team right now? From that point, they scored 1 point for until the rest of the game, and the Raptors came back and they won the game. And then I retweeted that and said, what the fuck was I talking about? And I was like, no one liked it.
Brutal.
I got 0 views on both of them. Brutal. Now people can search. Don't go looking that up, everyone, as well, word for word what that was. It's just my Wizards Twitter, okay? You don't need to find it.
What an unbelievable thing that you're an Australian man.
Yeah.
Who's like keeping tabs on the Washington Wizards.
My name is Wizards Down Under. Wizards Down Under.
You don't even have you don't even have a horse in this race. No, like at least I'm like I'm in Seattle. It's like, oh, we want the Supersonics back. Yeah, you don't even have.
You're in the same boat as me. You don't have a team because there's no team in Seattle.
Yeah, but I'm like close to teams at least, like Portland Trailblazers. Sure, it's a 3-hour drive.
Then they're about as good as the Wizards. Well, the Wizards recently, they added.
Well, it's not the Perth Wizards, is it?
No, it's not the Sydney Kings either.
It's not the Melbourne Trailblazers.
Yeah. No, we've got the Adelaide 39ers, not the Philadelphia 76ers. The Adelaide 39ers. Oh god,
Adelaide 14ers.
Go down to Adelaide, ask one person what the 39ers means. They would not be able to tell you. They probably won't even know they have a team. But the Wizards actually, the MVP of the NBL, the Australian Basketball League, they signed him, Xavier Cooks. They signed him, and he wasn't very good, and they cut him a few weeks ago. But that was a really exciting little point for me, because that was my like kind of connection. Maybe I could have, I was like, maybe if I could meet him one day, because he knows me on Twitter or something, but he didn't reply to any of my stuff.
You know what the issue is with other countries with basketball? and this is unironically what I believe. I don't know if this is borne out by the data. I'm just throwing this out there. I think that America develops such good basketball players literally because our resources for the impoverished are so terrible that the entire country is acting as a pressure cooker for poor people to just get really good at one thing. Like, so like if I don't know, it's like a stereotype, like, you know, to like get good at basketball when you're young and to like, you know, try to go into the NBA or like the NFL, like just try to become a D1 athlete. And I feel like it's a lot of people, it's like literally it's like that's the option. So if in other countries social mobility was way worse, maybe you guys would have good basketball players,
actual competitive players.
Yeah, maybe you guys have to like start trickle down economics, like destroy your entire government with conservatism and like bigotry, and then maybe you'll get one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar eventually.
Impossible.
That's not to say I don't know anything about like the background of any good basketball player. Once more, this is totally just.
Ro's a huge basketball head. huge.
Just making this up.
Loves watching the Supersonics.
Here are the things I know. Here are the things I know about basketball. Steph Curry shoots 3-pointers.
Yes, he does.
Shaquille O'Neal is famous, but he's not necessarily the best. LeBron left the Cavs and then went back. Big deal.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic. Jokic, something Jokic.
Yeah.
Yep. That's big for white people. Giannis.
Yep.
Giannis is big for, I don't know, European people.
Yep.
Maybe.
Greece.
And that's it. That's the extent. Yeah, Greece, sure. That's the extent of my basketball knowledge. So when I come out here and I say maybe America produces good basketball players because because there's no other option for poor people other than to get good at basketball, I'm pulling that out of my ass, guys.
Well, we've got because the podcast was started. It is kind of like a sports blog. What we're thinking of, it's kind of like, you know, there will be a segment. You know what I'd like to talk. I could go on about the Wizards all day, and also the beginnings of basketball players and why. And I could
just like riff. I could just like riff sociological analysis,
and then take it back in a way, kind of take it back, kind of kind of be like,
you take it back, and then I would be like, oh well, perhaps that basketball player is good because of war in the Algiers, and you'd be like, okay, we're gonna.
And I'll go, I'm a silly Aussie. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm bloody. Time zones.
I'll come back and I would say, well, silence is violence, Elliot. And the thing that...
and I'll be like, that's, you know, then I'll just...
This is why we have to talk about Curry shooting threes. In a Jungian sense, what in his psychology? Why is he shooting from so far back? Why does he not want to get close? Why is he afraid of that contact?
Yeah, it's like, because there's nothing, all the other players do it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, just get in, but he got really good at it. That's I'm glad you've taken an interest in basketball. That's good.
It's fake. I have some mutuals who like talk ball all the time, so I have to like know what some things mean.
It is one of those. I think that's kind of the reason I got into it in the first place, because it was becoming a thing. Like I think, and actually that's me with NFL. I had a few friends who I was always into basketball because I played, but NFL I had a few friends who started like a fantasy football league, and I was like, they're my friends, I must join in. And then I became a bit too invested in it, and then now I know enough about it. I don't watch it or anything, but I'm like I can talk about it, and I'm like, well, what's that going to help me with? I don't. And then I watched the footy. You know, the footy. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. Someone asked me, did you watch the game? No. I watched the Washington Wizards play basketball at 9 a.m. today. That's what I did.
You know, it's interesting. I do relate to you over this. I've never sort of taken interest in like any sort of thing, but I do have a high fantasy league, and you know I do have Wizards on that, so Wizards.
That's good. High fantasy.
Edmund Elves.
Yeah.
High fantasy league. Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah. That was real. That's
probably somebody's made that joke before, but you know I'm throwing it out there right now. Just mine.
You're telling me a Sistine built this chapel? That's am I right? Like because it was kind of like a tweet. No, I'm thinking like it's kind of something like maybe you can phrase the high fantasy, like you can turn it into a tweet like that.
Yeah, sure, whatever. You know what's interesting about that tweet, Sistine Chapel? My friend Riley Savage, very funny man,
Hive Mind,
is the person who came up with that. Yeah, Hive Mind Riley, great, very funny writer, and he got that. He made that tweet. Somebody put it in a crossword, and the
Oh.
person who would put it into the crossword, and I could literally just be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure it was the only crossword author who I had ever taken note of. My girlfriend and I earlier in the year, we were really obsessed with crosswords. I did like 200 of them in a month.
I'm just now getting into them, funnily enough. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literally the last
They're
week.
very fun. Yeah.
Yeah. This is fantastic.
And there was like a series of, I don't know who it was. It was just one of those YouTube channels that does like an expert crossword word constructor, like blah, blah, blah. And there's this great crossword constructor, very young guy, in his 20s or whatnot, Eric Agard. I thought he was super cool, so I followed him on Twitter. He followed me back. And just like me and my girlfriend are randomly mutuals with this crossword constructor, and I think we went and checked the crossword that Sistine Chapel was in, and it was one of his crosswords.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. So here are the two things: either I made that story up and it's been supplanted as folklore legend in my mind, or it's true, and I just like to not know which one it is.
Yeah. No, it sounds possible, definitely plausible. That could be. I believe it. I'd gladly believe it. Openly believe that.
I think the take home here is that I'm mutuals with one crossword constructor, and it's not Will Schwartz, and he actually edits them. He doesn't make them. Did you know? Interesting fact here.
Yeah.
And this might actually help. Well, I guess I'll throw out like two things. First of all, a bird of prey's up high nest is an airy, A-E-R-I-E. It's a great vowel one.
I needed to hear that yesterday.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that yesterday.
Yeah, but it's that's one that they always throw in. The other one is in the New York Times crossword.
Yeah.
Oreo, O-R-E-O.
The name of my first cat.
Yeah, is such an overused answer that Will Schwartz has a rule, and the rule is if you put Oreo in the puzzle, you must come up with a unique clue for it that's never been used before.
Wow.
So I think one that I came upon once was. One of these has like 13 flowers on one of its sides.
Yeah.
And if you go to an Oreo cookie and you count the flowers, there are 13 flowers. Or something like, there are like 23 calories in one of these snacks or something like that. So if you ever come across a very weird sort of like food or snack themed clue that seems incredibly specific and you can't make heads or tails of it, it might just be Oreo.
Wow.
Because they're forced to come up with a new one because it's such a common clue.
Because I didn't even know until recently when I repeated it, I could tell like back-to-back days almost, or like a few days in between, that I gave the same answer. And I was like, I didn't even think they could repeat them because I've got the New York Times app now and I do the daily, my little dailies. I do Google quite a bit of it. It's very American. What can I say? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like this person from this thing. And I was like, I don't fucking know. Let me cheat just a little bit.
Two really common ones. They use Etta James a lot.
Yeah,
so they'll say like James of Jazz, Etta, E-T-T-A, another great series of letters to fill up. They'll also use Ava DuVernay, who directed Wrinkle in Time, 13th, amongst other things.
Yeah.
So they'll say director blank DuVernay because AVA, again, great letters to just be able to square away with one clue. Yeah, and there's a bunch of those clues that if you sort of start understanding the meta of crosswords, you'll get to it and you'll immediately think, this is what it has to be. Because they'll reuse them a lot. In fact, like usually when a crossword constructor makes a puzzle, they don't even have a clue that's like, or an answer, a word, a phrase that's never been in the crossword before.
Right.
Like usually it's just all stuff that's been in there before. And of course, the New York Times will publish alongside their crossword every day, like a little blurb on the crossword, the constructor, whether they're a first-time, contributor. And in that, they'll mention, this is the first time such and such has appeared in a crossword. And it's oftentimes either something like, yeah, that makes sense that Zephyr has never been in a crossword. It seems hard to work in or something, or Zither or something like that. But an equal amount of times it's something like ridiculous where it's like, this is the first time like Eastward Bound appeared in a puzzle. And it's like, I guess nobody put that in. And yeah, last year I made a crossword for my girlfriend for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's very sweet, isn't it?
And I had to make it really big because I wanted the middle huge clue to be sourdough starter. And I imagined that if I worked that in the New York Times crossword, they would say,
this is the first time
that's ever happened.
Yeah.
But it might actually be too too long because
I'm trying to think
the
about how
biggest-
long that would be on the page. They would take a lot of
yeah,
squares.
I think
That's like 25 letters or something.
it's something. The Sunday crosswords are I think 21 by 21, and the weekly ones are 15 by 15. I
Yeah.
might be getting that messed up, but I think I might be able to
That'd
fit
fit
on a
in there,
Sunday.
100%.
Yeah.
You should keep the Patreon updated with. I'd really like to hear more. I want to see that happen.
The crossword tidbits.
Yeah.
I can do it.
No,
I feel like I do have some niche knowledge that people would be interested to hear about. I mean, I just wax poetic about these two.
those are still so
it's like,
fantastic. Yeah.
invite me on the podcast, and I'll talk about esoteric interests.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about yo-yos?
I would love to do. Yeah.
Hold on, wait, let me go get my yo-yo.
Yes. And while Ro is gone, I'm going to do the run report because I'm realizing I haven't done it. I did not go for a run this week. My legs are still sore from the half marathon, and I have not recovered. But I've been meaning to get back into running. I might go for one next week, and then if I do, I'll update you. Oh, it's Ro. Oh my goodness. Speaking of the NBA, great commentary moment where Rudy Gobert blocks a shot and the commentator goes, "Oh my goodness, look at this." Walking the dog. She is walking the dog.
I'll give a yo-yo spiel. So this is a CLYW Caribou Lodge bonfire return top yo-yo.
Return top.
Yeah, it's a return top actually. I was really into yo-yoing in middle school.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed. And yo-yoing goes a lot deeper than most people think because, of course, who gives a fuck about yo-yos? Like, I'm sure that there are a bunch of American kids who had like a random yo-yo guy do
there were a few of them in my
speech.
school. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But this is an unresponsive yo-yo, which is to say you throw it down and you tug it and it won't come back up.
Oh.
So the way you have to get it to come back up is you have to overlap the strings in such a way that it leads to tension that then makes the yo-yo wind back up. And that's called a bind. Yo-yoing is very cool. There's a huge competitive scene for it, nationally and internationally. And the WYYC, the World Yo-Yo Competition or Championship, I don't remember which one it is. They recognize 5 categories of yo-yo: 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A as main categories. Also, they're weirdly gender segregated. There's like women's competition and men's competition, which is crazy because that's not how yo-yos work. But I mean, what was her name? Tessa Piccillo? I don't know. She won like the women's league like so many years in a row just because I guess girls don't like yo-yo. Regardless, this is an unresponsive yo-yo. So 1A yo-yoing is just this. It's one unresponsive yo-yo doing tricks with it, any sort of trick you'd like. 2A yo-yo is using 2 responsive looping yo-yos, which are smaller. This is like a butterfly design yo-yo. A looping yo-yo looks a bit more like 2 like discs, right?
Yeah,
so if you
that's
think
the
of
one
like
that I'm used to.
yo-yo, yeah. So the 2A category is like you use 2 of those and you do tricks where you're sort of looping them around and crossing the strings and maybe you do like a flip or something. 3A is 2 unresponsive yo-yos, which is ridiculous. People are able to use 2 of these at once, do tricks.
Yeah.
One in each hand and do tricks with them. 4A is 1 really big off-string yo-yo, which is to say you throw it and it's not attached to the string when it comes down. So you kind of like hold it on there and then you can do tricks with that. There was a controversy a few years back because one of the undisputed greats of 3A and 4A yo-yoing did a routine that was fully, I don't remember what the technique is called, but he used 2 4A yo-yos the whole time.
Right.
So he was using 2 off-string yo-yos, and he actually lost the competition even though a lot of people thought that it was one of the greatest all-time yo-yo freestyles because of like scoring, like annoying shit with the scoring.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a controversy. And then the fifth yo-yo category is you use an unresponsive yo-yo with a counterweight at the end, so that you can like let go of this end and like let it swing back and forth and stuff.
Yeah.
And people just get ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous with this stuff. I think right now there's like a bunch of, I mean, just like young kids these days are better at yo-yoing than they've ever been in history. The kid that did the like 2-4 yo-yos at once, I guess he's around my age now, but his name is Hajime Miura, and he's just like a beast. He's ridiculous.
I feel like I've seen that routine. Like I feel like that went around, did the rounds at one point. Yeah.
It was a viral moment. Somebody made a YouTube, like a video essay about it.
Yeah.
Which actually put me onto it because I hadn't been keeping up with the scene at the time.
Right.
So I like walked in and I was like, oh, I guess something happened.
They did 2 unresponsive yo-yos for the 4A? Are you kidding me?
Like, well, that has to be against the rules. But that was cool.
There you go.
Yo-yo, that's my yo-yo spiel.
Yeah, and sure, okay. Thanks for that, I guess. And that'll bring us to the end of the. It seriously will, though. I think we've been going on for a while, which has been lovely.
Yeah.
Ro, thank you so much for coming on to GDIME. Thanks for GDIMing with me.
Elliot, thanks for letting me GDIME with you.
I'm glad you wanted to be on, because I'd always wanted to get you on. I'd always wanted guests in general, and I've been blessed with some enthused legends. So this has been fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
It was so fun.
Okay, amazing, good. Thank God. You can tell me otherwise as soon as I say the ending, and then I'll keep recording until I properly say goodbye, and then we can. Yeah, it'll be funny. Would you like to leave with anything? You want to plug anything or anything like that? I'll leave it to you for a little bit, if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. YouTube.com/Ramdin, RO space RAMDIN. If you like what Elliot does comedically and in terms of pacing, you might appreciate what I do. It's commentary. It's some more essay-ish stuff. It's usually political. It's got a hard left political leaning. I'll let you know that right now, but I think I throw in enough jokes and enough, other stuff to make it entertaining regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum.
Ro radicalized me.
Really? Did I?
Partly. I think I'm always like, if I really like a creator and I'm like really have a lot of respect for them, I'll be like, let me learn more about what they're doing, and then I'm like, oh, good. Oh, good.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you like what Elliot does, I'm super inspired by him. You can go and watch. I mean, if you watch Elliot videos, if you've seen all of my videos and you watch an Elliot video, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I feel like he might be inspired by her. And if you watch all of Elliot's videos, then you go and watch my most recent video, you'll be like, she's stealing from him. It's his shit. Yeah, but... yeah, go check me out if you want to.
There's a lot of crossover in the content. You'll notice that there's a few things. I think I've openly said it on GDIME. The clone video at the very end of that, the emotional moment with the clone, is 100% a direct homage to Rose moments at the end of her videos with like a lot of beautiful shots and music, because of course she makes her own bloody music at the same time. I just use Epidemic Sound. Okay, there's nothing, and I shouldn't be shamed for that.
Yeah, not at all.
Referral link in the description. But no,
your music choice is so good though. It doesn't.
Thank you. I tried.
It might as well have been made by a composer specifically for your videos.
I love the stems of Epidemic Sound. I love taking the drums from a terrible track, and you go, there's a good beat here. Let me take that, and ignore the lyrics. But no, I'm going to link a bunch of Ro stuff in the bio. I'll also link my favorite Ro video, which is the Mr. Beast Squid Game one, which still is your most recent one probably. I'll figure. I'll link a favorite. I'll link one that you should watch that I think would be a good one. The most recent one is fucking fantastic. Watch the most recent one. But yes, thank you so much, Ro, for GDIMing. I'm sure we will do.
Thank you for having me.
More of this shit in the future, which we will talk about. But this was lovely. All right, everyone. Thanks for GDIMing, and we'll see you guys later. See ya, everyone.